to the channel. Today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to go and test ride an Africa Twin at Doble's in Coulsdon, but we're going to be test riding a DCT, and that's the real reason I'm test riding the bike. It's nothing really to do with the Africa Twin. I will be test riding the newer Africa Twin when the new demo comes in at Doble's, but until then, yeah, we're going to try this Africa Twin. We're going to try it in DCT and see what we think of it. As you can see, there's a couple of things missing from the K1 today, and that's not because we live in Croydon and someone's stolen them. It's because the bike needs new boots. So we'll head down in the car instead to see me on the bike. Right, here we are back at Doble's Motorcycles. Let's go and check what they've got for sale in their used section at the minute. This is a great value bike at the moment. 9699, the supercharged H2. It's 1,000. I mean, you know, that is ridiculous amount of power for the money. Is that nearly 200 horsepower? That's crazy for £9,700. Yes, that's not a bad deal, is it? Or live out your Ghost Rider fantasies with a GSX 1000. That looks quite mean in black, doesn't it? Oh, I do love a Gixxer. Or do you need a track bike in your life? Yeah, I'm not a fan of the blue levers, but that's all no accounting for taste. But yeah, what an amazing track bike that is. Ever wanted to be a policeman? Well, here's your time, R1250 RT. That is a luxurious bike. I do like it in white, and I bet everybody moves out of your way with one of these. Or for a Harley trike. I don't think I'm quite ready for one of these yet, to be honest. But in fairness, this is a nice one. It's a lot of bike, in fairness. That pearlescent paint job, it's quite incredible, to be fair. But yeah, it's not a bit of me, that, I'm afraid. I'm a little bit in love with this XADV 750. I just love the colour as well. That sort of matte yellow, the black. That looks like massive fun. That big TFT screen, big riding screen as well. I even love the seat. What's going on with me? Join me outside with the Africa Twin DCT. Today it's not really about a test ride of the Africa Twin, to be honest. This is I think this is a 2001, 2002 model. What I really wanted to do was try a bike with DCT. I know the new Africa Twin's out, so that's the one I'm really interested in riding. So yeah, for today, really, I mean, obviously I'll give my opinion on this bike, but what I really want to get to grips with is DCT. So that's really what interests me. So let's give it a whirl. Paul from Doble's has just given me a bit of a run through. Right, it's weird already. I'm already reaching for a clutch. So what we do is we put it in drive, which are in drive now. This is very odd. I'll be honest, guys. This is very odd. First time. Okay. It's like the Starship Enterprise on the side here. Right. Yes, first impressions are... Yeah, the gearbox is quick to get through the box. What I've also been told is you don't need just to have it in manual mode either to go up and down the gears. You can do it like you can in your own car, right? It's where if it's an automatic, you can still, you know, you can put it in the sport mode, but you don't even need to put it in the sport mode with this. You can flick up and down just with the buttons on the side, which I did just try. As I say, it's quick to change gear. It's already a very easy system. It just takes your mind away just to leave that clutch alone. I mean, as soon as I jumped on it, the first thing I did was reach for a clutch, which isn't a clutch on this bike. It's a well, it's like a handbrake, really. First thoughts. Oh, I'm too busy probably getting to grips with it at the minute to have a massive opinion. I'm too busy concentrating. That was nice and smooth.
I'll be honest, I'm sort of hating myself already because I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I think we all get into that sort of thought process of what we know. Right, it's got to be a manual, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. I mean, if we did just stay that way, then I suppose we wouldn't be off, we'd all still be riding penny farthing. So yeah, I think you've got to be open-minded to it. And I've never ridden an automatic bike apart from obviously scooters, large capacity scooters, or you know, or the small capacity like 125s. This doesn't feel like that at all. The gearbox wise, it doesn't feel like that. You can tell it's a proper gearbox, but obviously being a double clutch transmission, I think you're obviously having a clutch gear in the first gear, third gear, and the fifth gear, and then clutches in between that. So it's a clever system. Alright, let's have a... Didn't drop down for me there. I'm just thinking obviously what I use a bike for, and that's, you know, a lot of trips and stuff as well. And how would I feel about this? I think the thing is though, when you do a lot of trips, I mean, if I go away to France, a lot of, you know, some of the, you know, quite a bit of time, and honestly, you try and stay away from motorways, but you have to be on them. And then once you're in top gear on a motorway anyway, you're not going through the box. It's around town really, and those sort of road that this really matters. You know, people going, oh yeah, great for long journeys. Well, yeah, great for long journeys if you're, you know, you are doing all the back roads and stuff, then yeah. But if you're on a motorway, then, you know, it doesn't really make much difference. Once you're in sixth, right? You're just poodling along. Yeah, so I've had a few sort of, obviously, you know, negative comments in regards to anything automatic, and obviously the diehards are just not interested at all. And I'd love to hear your opinion on it, guys. You know, so you put in the comments what you think about these type of, this type of transmission, the DCT and the Honda, and is it something you would think about having, or is it something you would die hard never go near, but you sort of find yourself, you know, a little bit older you get, you think, oh, actually, I wouldn't mind. I mean, this is a, you know, quite a heavy bike for doing any sort of proper enduro stuff. I'm sort of comparing it to my KTM, right? That weighs about 110 kilos. This is 240 kilos, so yeah, it's a bit of a difference in size and weight. Would I really want to take this up some gnarly gnarly green lanes? Not particularly, but I can sort of see the sort of trails it would be good for. But obviously there's riders out there who are way better than I am, who will throw this 240 kilo bike around like it was my KTM. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to ride the new one. So as I say, today isn't really about this bike, but I am going to review it, obviously. And the good thing about using a used bike from Doble's is they don't sell rubbish, so you know it's not had a hard life. I think this is a one-owner bike as well. I actually fell a little bit in love with their XRV 750. They had a matte yellow one in it. It was a special edition. Oh, it looked the business, 1 of 30. And I looked at it, I was thinking, you know what, that could be a bit of me. So I spoke to Paul in there, and he said, oh yeah, we put it on I think last night. There we go, experts. It's quite a good test for the bike actually. It come down the gears nicely. Yeah, and they sold that bike overnight. Paul literally did the deal in sort of 8-9 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, oh, it's got me wanting one now though as well. So there you go. I need to stay out. I need to walk into that showroom with my eyes closed and then just test ride what I'm there to test ride, because I start having these mad ideas of things I want. You know what, this is so easy, guys. I mean, the Goldwing's gone that route now, you know, just automatic only, and this is going to probably offend a few people. I don't know why you'd really want a manual Goldwing. Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I don't know why you'd really want a manual Goldwing, but I'm sure there's a few out there going, oh, I want to be in control of the gearbox. Oh my word, they're out in force today, aren't they? Yeah, I want to be in control of the gearbox. I want to choose when I go up and down the gears. Well, I get that, but you still can with the automatic and the manual mode. So that's me going up the gear there. It is smooth, right? Let's lean on it a bit. It didn't drop down. It did drop down there for me. It knew I wanted to go, so. I mean, if I was commuting into town every day, I'll be honest, this could be a bit of a a bit of a thing for me. I will be honest. I mean, obviously I love, you know, going up and down the gears and using a clutch and all that sort of stuff, but when you're commuting around town, you've got a job to do, right? You're there to do something. You're not really, you know, you're on the bike because it's quicker, for one. Yeah, you're still having a good time, but I think it just gives you awareness of other things, you know. And what is really amazing as well, which has shocked me quite a bit, before I test rode this bike I thought, oh, I'm going to be going for the clutch all the time, it's going to be really confusing, and it's not. And that's the strange thing about it. It's just so it's very natural, so that's a massive plus point. It's just great for someone like me to obviously be given an idea, because I've never ridden this type of automatic bike, so it's as much of a revelation to me as it is to anyone else who hasn't ridden one. I would love to get I'd love to get someone who's a real naysayer of an automatic bike and get them on this and see what they think. Because look, I'll be honest with you, I'm quite open-minded to many things in the sort of motorcycle industry or the car industry. I mean, I'm big into my cars as well. I do love the suspension on this bike as well. I've been riding bikes recently that are really firm, and this is nice and soft, so I like that. Another Honda Special seat though, quite firm, but not as firm as the Hornet. You got to remember this bike as well, it's 100 horsepower, 246 kilos, so it's no rocket ship, but it certainly doesn't hang about. In the Africa Twin range at the moment, you have the bog standard bike, I think it's about 13.5 grand, then you have the sport version, which is about 16,000, and then you have the one above that, which is about 17.5. And it always reminds me of like the RD03, the original Honda XRV 750 in these colours. Feel like I should be wearing white off-road trousers and an old Bell open face helmet with the goggles. I think this is a cooler bike than the GS as well. I think the GS is just it's just so ubiquitous, I think is the best word for it. That's all you ever really tend to see when it comes to touring. And you know what, let's be fair to it, there's a reason for that. It's not ubiquitous because it's rubbish, it's ubiquitous because it's really good. And then when you look at the price of a GS online as well, you want to go adventure and you want to start putting some toys on it, wowzers, you know, you're talking high 20s, knocking on the door of 30s then, which, you know, that's a hell of a lot of money. Whoa, bit greasy down here, oh bloody hell. Right, that is a really good test. There was no warning there that the road ahead was closed. Well, not that I saw, I was probably too busy riding, but obviously last minute I saw, couldn't go down there. The bike just took care of everything. And you know what, I didn't reach for a clutch. Your mind's already set into what you're doing. I didn't reach for a clutch at all, the bike just took care of it. So there you go, if you sort of just keep on the balance, I was worried it was going to be a bit jaunty on the gearbox and a bit juddery, but it wasn't. So you can sort of filter easily, or you can move at a slow pace. Oh, it is very smooth. Smoother than I thought it'd be, in fairness. What we are going to do though is we're going to take it a little bit by surprise. I'm going to give it a full sense of security, and then I'm going to give it a tiny bit of binage. Exactly what to do and when to do it. It's quite impressive actually. I gave it a little bit of a blip of the throttle. It knew that obviously it was playtime, and it dropped a gear and then we were just gone. It's surprisingly fast for the power to weight, you know, 240 kilos, 100 odd horsepower. It's surprisingly nippy. And it's usable power as well. Well, we're going to roll off the throttle, move over to the left lane, and then we're going to gun it again. Oh yeah. I'll try to confuse it, but it's not falling for my traps as of yet, which is good. expect it to be good, but I'm quite shocked at how confident you feel with it on the motorway. It just feels very planted, which isn't the most original way to describe a motorcycle, but unfortunately that's the way I feel, so that's the best I can come up with the way it feels. We're going to do a little bit of an abrasive stop. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of switchgear going on here. So these are the automatic manual modes, neutral, sport. Lead into that. So here we are, town riding. Right, we're going to do a bit of an emergency stop here, see what the gearbox does. Smooth. I've had quite a few people email me asking me to do a Goldwing test. Yes, it will be coming. It will be coming. That seems to be the most favourite thing at the moment is Goldwing chat. Alright, what we will do is, once we get out of here, we'll put it into manual mode and we'll be playing with the buttons ourselves and the gearbox ourselves. But I'll be honest, my car automatic has a pretty good automatic transmission. Still, it'd be the 8-speed Zenith gearbox, which is a pretty good gearbox. Look, it's nothing massively special, but in fairness, it's pretty decent gearbox, and it has the sport modes where you can keep it in gear or you can do it yourself. One hand would be too much to tell you the amount of times I've used that. I just don't. I put it in drive, and if I want a bit more oomph, I put it in sport mode, and then obviously the gearbox is a bit more aggressive, and yeah, the car is a little bit more ready to go. But yeah, I don't find myself putting the gear stick to the left and then using the paddles. But I do use the paddles in automatic all the time. If I'm going there and you've had a little bit of a blip down the road and then the car's still ready to go, I just give it a little tock up in up the gears, and then it just relaxes everything. So I do use that, and this is the same way I use this bike. Alright, we'll put it in manual mode here. We are in manual mode, and I'm doing it all myself. Will she change without my assistance? No, she's hanging on to third. Put it into fourth myself. Into fifth. Yeah, so it's kind of nice if you want to hold it in a gear, which I'll stay in this gear and I'll... Yeah, that's nice, but yeah, as I say, it doesn't... It's a nice thing to have. Let's put it back into auto. Yeah, it's not, as I say, it's something you play about with for a couple of times, but I'm not sure it's something you're going to use. Or I mean, it may well be, you might prefer that, but I think that then sort of defeats the object of you having a DCT to a certain degree, but that's maybe just me. If you find my editing has been a little bit abrasive on this video, it's probably due to me going slightly over the speed limit at times, and I don't really want to incriminate myself. I mean, not vastly over, but you know, when I've just been sort of trying the gearbox, we may be going up towards the 71 miles per hour, and obviously being a law-abiding citizen, no one at all, and I'm just going to rip the throttle. So what are my thoughts on a DCT Honda in summary? We've had a good run now, we've gone through all the modes, we tried everything out. Can I see a world in which I'd want a DCT bike? Yes, I can, in fairness. I can, especially if I'm, you know, doing a lot of commuting or something like that, or I'm just feeling a little bit lazy one day. Am I in the headspace at the moment? If it was my only bike, would I have DCT? I don't know about that, but that is something that I would question. It's definitely something I would definitely have a conversation with myself about. I've never thought this before, but I want to get in a little bit of traffic. I want to see how the old girl takes the traffic. Yeah, so could I mean, I need to go away and have a think about it, really. I can no doubt in my mind see the appeal. Absolutely 100% can I see the appeal. But if I was riding into the city today, oh, this is what I'd go for. I'd go for a DCT. I've really enjoyed it, actually, more than I thought I would. But I don't think it's going to quite settle down till later on when I get home and I have a real sort of think about it. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of a stigma around it. Is there having an automatic bike? Do you get sneered upon by other motorcyclists? You know, let me know in the comments, guys, if you do, if you look a little bit down on someone who has an automatic DCT. It's a silly thing to say, to be honest, but I think there is a little bit of that. But I think anyone who has one is, to be honest, is probably a little bit ahead of the game and a little bit of an early adopter. There's just certain bikes you don't need to be a manual bike. I mean, this bike, Felish, can make a case that it should be a manual, right? If you want to do some enduro or greenland. I mean, I'm not taking it any slightly off-road, so that would be a real interesting way. So obviously enduro or off-road mode would cancel out any ABS or anything like that, because obviously you can't have that when you're on gravel or anything sort of slippery. So that'd be interesting to see what it was like off-road. But what I always like to do with these reviews, guys, is give you a demonstration of how the likelihood is you'll be using the bike, right? The way you use a bike is probably pretty similar to the way I use a bike. We don't all use it exactly the same way, but, you know, I think there's probably a lot of similarities, and, you know, and this is how I use a bike to run errands and just have fun. You know, I don't need a bike for work. I don't need to ride anywhere. I ride a bike literally just for fun. Oh, we're coming up to Land Rover again, guys. I'm looking for the queue of recovery vehicles waiting to deposit vehicles into Land Rover. It's probably a good few there. Oh wow, they're looking a little bit short on stock. Oh, they're doing becoming a BYD dealer as well. I actually don't see any Land Rovers there. Where they've all gone? They can't all be in the workshop, are they? Do you know what, guys? I've really enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed a DCT bike. And obviously it wasn't the longest test ride in the world. I'm going to do a manual mode into the gear there. Look at that. So when I feel like it's not quite in the gear I want, I just bump it up a gear, and that's it. And it just becomes second nature. It's not like, oh, I'm going to have to do that. You just do it. I do it in my car all the time. I do it in the car all the time. It's nothing at all. It's no. Be interesting to see though, after a long ride, if you do feel any less tired from riding a DCT bike over a manual. And also any of you scallywags who don't like to use motorcycle boots but like to use a nice pair of trainers or anything to ride out, well, you're not going to scuff them up on a DCT bike. You don't have to put one of those silly little straps around your foot as well to stop it damaging your 150 quid pair of trainers. So yes, in summary, guys, I really like a DCT bike. Is it for me? I don't know. If it was my only bike, maybe not. I've got a few bikes, then yes, I definitely would consider a DCT bike. 100% I would. I think maybe when I think about it later, I'll probably be even more inclined. As I say, I'm not a naysayer. So yes, I've really enjoyed the DCT. So give it a go, guys. I know we can all be a bit quick to say no to something like this because we're just used to, you know, riding in a certain way, but you know, it'd be a lot easier for people to you know, pass their bike test on something like this, that's for sure. Look at that, and these little tricky little jaunts it does as well, it just deals with. So there you go guys, if you didn't see, to go up the gears, to come down the gears, these are your different modes: automatic, manual, your sport mode, and then obviously coming into neutral. So we did mess about with the manual mode, but yeah, pretty much keep it in auto. And if you want a little bit of an extra gear, a little tap, and yeah, if you don't want to use the engine braking, or you feel like you could be in a different gear, then a little tap and you don't even think about it. Then obviously if you want to blip down a gear and you come to an overtake and you want to do a bit of a quick overtake, drop down a gear and off you go. Do you know what, I really enjoyed that more than I probably thought I would. What's happening to me? What's going on? But yeah, it's they're a good looking bike as well, aren't they? I do like all these engine bars as well. I do like all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so this one's currently for sale down at Doble's. So yeah, if you are interested in a DCT Africa Twin, this might be the one for you. I do like it in these colours as well. I really do. DCT, big thumbs up from me. So in the comments guys, please give me your opinions on what you think, because as I say, I've read a lot of stuff, and yeah, a lot of negative stuff really, and yeah, for me it's a big positive. And as I say, maybe I'm you know, a little bit more open-minded from the fact of having an automatic bike over a manual, but it's so easy, and you still get the manual thrills. You still can come up and down the box. The only thing you're not getting is to use your foot and then use the clutch, which to be honest is no big deal really. And this is the handbrake as well, so yes, don't go grabbing that when you're coming along. But yeah, this is obviously to, you know, if you want to pop the bike up, or normally in the manual bike you leave in gear, you just pull that back, job done. So yes, excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed that guys, and let me know in the comments also anything else you'd like me to test ride. Paul's been so generous with me. He's literally given me sort of free run of anything in Honda at the moment. So anything new, anything used. So get on the website, have a look on their website, have a look at the new bikes, have a look at the used bikes, and then put in the comments what you'd like to see me test ride. And the one that's got the most comment, I'll go and test ride. So yeah, we'll keep it as simple as that. As always guys, I hate to say it, I cringe every time I say it, like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. I know it's boring to hear, it's boring to say, but it does help. So thanks guys, have a great weekend.